To all my amazing men, you should be afraid, man. Because they're not just softening men, they're straight erasing them. Piece by piece, frame by frame. Now they'll try to hoodwink you, right? And they'll call it self-improvement. Even have the audaciousness to say we're evolving. But I see it for what it is. And it's sterilization in slow motion. Now, first they tell you tone it down, shrink the chest, soften the voice, numb the stare. They say the edge was too sharp, the weight too heavy, the presence a bit too much. And so now they're selling manhood with no muscle, no fire, and no consequence. Look around. We've been made ornamental, like some display pieces, storefront fathers straight neutered by algorithms and numbed by affirmation. So nah, this is not masculinity. This is mannequin masculinity. And now we got the world bowing to a former man that couldn't carry a covenant if it was laminated and gift wrapped. Now, I get how you all triggered and uncomfortable, so let me be relatable. I was that guy, all the way, straight up. I'm talking soft-shouldered, don't intimidate type. The guy who made himself smaller just so other people could feel okay in the rooms God called me to lead in. So I cracked jokes instead of knuckles. I hid behind empathy because I didn't yet own authority. But as I reflect and I look back, I know now that was all learned submission, packaged in politeness, sold as virtue, rooted in fear. Think about that. I was taught that my masculinity was dangerous, that my strength was toxic, that my presence needed to be balanced. But balance never saved a home. Presence did. Now let me give you a visual to stimulate this further. Imagine this. You walk into a house, it's modest, quiet, and inside there's a locked room nobody talks about. Nobody goes in. Until one day, somebody forgets to shut the door. Now, of course, you're intrigued. You're curious. You peek inside. And what do you see? Weapons. Weapons of mass societal destruction. No, not for violence. I'm talking capacity. A gym, a war journal, Bibles with blood on the pages, photos of sons, letters to wives, prayers not posted. It's an arsenal of unspoken strength, a vault of memory, grief, discipline, and dominance. But it was hidden because the world said men like that should be quiet. That power like that makes people uncomfortable. Can you see it? So they became mannequins, neutral, sterile, display safe. All the fire, power, and strength locked behind a polite smile. And the world cheered. Because a silent, strong man is way easier to market than a sovereign one who remembers. So yeah, they locked the arsenal away and called it safety. Took the man out to fight, then convinced him the war never existed. But this wasn't random. It was all the way intentional, and it was systemic. So let's break it down together piece by piece and talk about what I call the neutralization of masculinity. Here's how it starts. It starts with what I call inheritance theft. Mannequin masculinity is a crisis of spiritual lineage. They sterilized the protector, softened the warrior, and stripped the covenant from the covering. So the role remains, but the weight is gone. From there, they learned how to package the hollow man. You see, culture doesn't want strong men. They want presentable ones. Just enough edge to look authentic, but never enough pressure to convict. Then they turned the heart against the presence. They weaponized emotional fluency. So check this out. If you feel deeply, you're labeled a healer. And if you don't, you're a monster. But they'll never admit the truth, because the truth is that sometimes your restraint is the protection. And finally, they sold you your own image back in two extremes. Either bloated and docile, carrying the gospel of the dad bod, or shredded and soulless, caught in the lust loop idol. Let me ask you this. Where is the man who is strong, sacred, and surrendered? The one who remembers his source while carrying his sword. Now, if you can't picture him, it's because they erased him from the frame. But let me be clear. He is not gone. And if you're willing to remember, you can be him again. Because here's what they won't tell you. Your biceps are spiritual. Your jawline is a warning. Your discipline is doctrine. Your presence is prophecy. You weren't built to be admired. You were built to cover, to lead, to protect, to war, to restore. You are not a mannequin. You are a pillar, and pillars don't apologize for holding weight. Think about that. Think about that, and then let them be scared of your stillness. Let them tremble when your eyes don't flinch. Let them misunderstand you, but never, and I mean never, let them mold you. Because your strength wasn't built for aesthetic, it was forged for covenant. And every rep, every refusal to soften when the world begged you to fold, that's remembrance in motion. And while we're still together and I got your attention, let's bring this all the way home to God, the infinite. Let's get into prayer. My God, thank you for my form, not for how it looks, but for what it can carry. Make me a man who protects without permission, who commands without performance, who builds altars, not just reels. Forgive me for neutralizing my presence just to fit in soft rooms. I want to be strong, not for vanity, for victory. Not for applause, but for alignment. Let my body become warning and witness. Let my children feel safe in my arms. Let my wife feel covered in my silence. Let the enemy know I don't posture. I move. I don't want balance. I want obedience. And if my presence shakes the room, let it be a reminder that I still remember who I am. You own it or be owned by it. You either run the system or the system runs you. Change your mind, change your life. I am who I say I am. Do you and stay rich.